Hey guys, it's been a while. Royal with Respiratory here. I kind of wanted to cover the topic of that new respiratory exam program, and I think it's actually easier for new grads compared to what it is currently. This new test is supposed to be all in one, so that's probably more beneficial and probably makes more sense. It should have been like that to begin with, but maybe they were money hungry. I don't know. But currently the tests are for the current test now for respiratory therapists. You have the therapist multiple choice exam, and then you also have the clinical sims exam. Now I'm going to talk about my experiences for pretty much everything, and then my feedback for what the not feedback, but my take on the new exams that's coming up. But for the therapist multiple choice exam, it's 160 questions, and you're scored on 140. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes, so I keep looking down. And you're scored on 140. So 20 of them are like, don't even count. They're like, I guess, questions that they'll use another time or whatever they're trying to do. But for your first time taking the exam, it's $190. And if you want to take the exam again, if you're like 1 point off, then it's $150. For me, that was the case. I'm a great test taker, and this exam, you basically have to, how do I say, answer what the question's asking. Obviously, not what you think is right. You're basically, it's like this exam places you in a hospital, and you're the respiratory therapist, and you're like in charge of everything, whether it's IVs, ABGs, BiPAP, intubate, everything. You're in charge theoretically, according to this exam. So that happened with me. I took the exam 2 times. The first time, I was like maybe 1 or 2 points from my RRT credibility to be able to take it. So I passed the CRT the first time, then like the next week I got the RRT out the way, the RRT credibility out the way. So I spent $340 first go around, right? Now luckily for me, I was reimbursed at the hospital I was working at the time, and so remember, keep in mind, $340. So then after, obviously, I had to take the clinical sims. Now, for my take when it comes to the clinical sims, for both tests, they place you in this room where there's like a bunch of other people. You got your headphones on. Sometimes the room is hot. Sometimes the room's cold. You can't bring food or snacks. You can't bring anything in there. You just need to focus on your screen and do what you need to do. And I'm sure it's like that at all test centers, but that's just what you should expect going in. So the clinical sims now, currently it's $200, and I did not pass my clinical sims 3 times, and it'd be like 2 points off, 3 points off. So I took the exam 3 times, 200, 200, 200, 600. So 600 plus the 340 that I spent on the, I guess part 1, you could say, of the exam. So that's $940 that I spent on the exam trying to get my RRT. For clinical sims, you got 22 scenarios and then 2 pre-tests. I didn't really write down what the categories were, but when you're taking the sims, sometimes whenever you're clicking answers, they'll say, oh, the doctor doesn't like that, nurse doesn't agree. And sometimes that kind of messes with people. It's like, I don't have anxiety, but I know some people do. They don't think that they're picking the right choice. So sometimes I believe that's making them pick something else, if that makes sense, because I've done practice exams in the past, and the doctor, for one part, the doctors was disagreeing on something, but when I answered it on my part, it was correct. And then sometimes when the doctor was agreeing on something and I was disagreeing, I was wrong. So there's like a dilemma with that when it comes to that. I don't know, because like I said, people have anxiety and sometimes they might choose the wrong answers. But going back to the cost, for me total, if I wasn't reimbursed at that one hospital I was working at, I would be short of what did I say? $940 for this new test. You guys just have it all in one. You're very fortunate whenever it's 2027. And multiple choice exams, I hate to say it to you guys, but it's just easier. So it's beneficial for you, but you still have to be competent whenever you're picking your choices, whatever these questions are asking. Now, there's gonna still be more information on what they're doing, like how they're gonna, cut the lower end for CRTs and then RRTs and blah 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 blah. But I still think that they're gonna do 160 questions. I don't think there's pre-test questions in this one. I think they're gonna score you basically 160 questions. I still believe it's like a 4-hour exam. You get 2-hour sessions if you want to take a break, but if you don't, you can just chuck right through it like I did. And I really think it's probably going to be more beneficial for new graduates, because it's probably going to be more cost effective, meaning like people aren't going to spend as much money taking this exam over and over and over and over again. They go into to the next one, which is the Sims, and you're spending like $200 if you're like 1-2 points off like me, and it just probably would be more easier. So in the future, I definitely can see more graduates passing their boards, just for the simple idea that they're combining it into one, which, like I said, it should have been something to begin with. One exam makes sense. You're already getting money. I mean, I'm sure the company, the NBRC is getting money from, all the licensing and things like that. So, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to, constantly have us pay more and more and more and more for exams when everybody's failing. I'm not gonna say everybody's failing. I shouldn't say it like that, but like for the people who are like not passing by like 1 or 2 points, But like I said, it's just easier that way, and I feel like the new grads coming in, starting in 2025, because I guess you guys will be eligible, because respiratory therapy is a 2-year program, and it's definitely a lot of work. But whenever you get to that multiple choice exam, I feel like it's definitely going to help you guys with that new test. You guys are going to be able to pass with ease. Because when it comes to multiple choice exams, you got to just answer the questions on what they want, not what the correct answer is. What is the question asking you, if that makes sense? And I don't recall how much the new test is, but $940 versus, let's just say they did it like what, 190, 150. That could help you guys dramatically, and then you guys could make some money, bring some money, and then you can invest, get a new car, help pay off debt, maybe further your education. There's definitely many more outlets that you can do whenever you do graduate respiratory therapy school, and then you get your license. You can go wherever. You can be a traveler, work in a nursing home, you could work hospital, obviously, sleep labs. There's actually many ways you can make money as a respiratory therapist. And me, like I said, I've said this in the past, I work my 2 jobs and I go home. Pretty simple. But I got my investments that I'm working on. And living the dream, man. Just out here living. And I think that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about. I just feel like the new exam is just gonna be easier for upcoming respiratory therapists. It's just all in one, and if you answer the questions of what they're asking for, you'll pass. You'll do just fine, and that way you'll make a lot of money, help your mom out, help your daddy out, whatever. But that's it for my my little spiel. But if you're watching this, I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for the 101 subscribers. They don't seem like a lot, but I'm very appreciative to have the opportunity to even capture 100 of you. And I still hope to grow this channel the best I can to my ability. And I appreciate all of you and everything you do for me, even if you just look at the video, share it. I see some of you share it, and I really appreciate that. So with that being said, I hope you guys continue to do well, and I hope you guys pass your exams and study extremely hard so that you'll be able to progress your life. That being said, it was nice seeing you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.